What is up, Broncos country? So, preseason game week 2 against the Packers has just ended, wrapped up with the final score of 27 to 2. It was a dang good game. Granted, it's only preseason still, but still, nonetheless, it was a really, really, really great game. Um, Defense on both, in all three phases, first string, second string, third string, all did really well. A lot of turnovers, a lot of pressure. You know, Green Bay could not move the ball down the field at all. The only points they got was from a safety on Zach Wilson, which I'm going to get into that here in a little bit. But first, I want to talk about, some other things. So let's get into it. So, the first thing I want to bring up the one negative for me personally, and that is the penalties. Those really need to get worked out by the start of the season. Now, with that said, those penalties really they weren't on the first team. I think there was like one or two on the first team, offense and defense, but the majority of them came from like second stringers, third stringers, guys, most of the guys that probably are not going to make the roster and they're going to be off. But even still, like you don't want to see that. So hopefully the Broncos clean up the, penalties, no more holding, jumping off sides, all that stuff, you know. So hopefully we can, clean that up. With that out of the way, I think the defense played exceptionally well tonight. Like they look great. All three phases, first string, second string, third string, they all look good. Uh the starting defense, man, I mean, yes, they did go up against the, second string of the Packers, but even last week going up against the first string of the Colts, like I think this defense is going to have no problem stopping the run this year. They're great. This defense is going to be good this year. Is basically what I'm saying. The secondary, even our third, fourth, or second, third, and fourth stringers on the secondary, dude, they're really good. They're out there making PBUs, making interceptions, making tackles for loss out in open field, like, or just even making a tackle in open field to where the guy won't pick up extra yards. Secondary is going to be good. Defensive line is going to be good. No one's going to be able to run the ball on us, and I am super excited about that. Um, Backup offensive linemen, man, they really need to get better. Like I said, the only the only play that the Packers got points on was a safety on Zach Wilson towards the end of the game. It was in the fourth quarter, and that was on the offensive lineman. Like it was, I forgot who it was, but it was a tackle. I know that much. He came around. He came around to pick up a block from the middle, and the guy didn't even get his hands on the pass rusher, and he just annihilated Zach Wilson in the end zone. So backup offense. That once again, these were backup guys. Hopefully, they clean that up. And they learn to block a little bit better because like if one of these guys need to come in, like I don't want one of our stars to go down. One of these guys come in and we lose a game because they just couldn't get over there and get their hands on the freaking pass rusher in time. So, but all in all, really great. Zach Wilson had a touchdown. I think he went 2 for 6 for like I can't remember how many yards off the top of my head. Jarrett Stidham had a rough day. I mean, he did have a rushing touchdown. He didn't throw it into the end zone, but he did have a rushing touchdown. But the pick, like last week, I even said the pick that Stidham threw against the Colts was not his fault. That was all on P. Ryan. And, because P. Ryan, he threw it to P. Ryan, perfect pass, wide open. P. Ryan bobbled it until it got picked off. Today, though, it was on Jared Stidham. That was Stiddy's fault. Like, if you rewatch that play where he threw that interception, he literally doinked it off the back of the offensive lineman's helmet, and it bounced up into the air and got picked off. That was on Stiddy. You that's something like a Russell Wilson type play where he can't see over the offensive line. He hits the offensive lineman in the back of the head trying to throw the ball, and it pops up and gets picked off. So Stiddy, I don't think really had that great of a day. He was okay. Zach Wilson was okay. But with all that said, I don't know if anybody noticed either that P. Ryan was taking reps with the third stringers. Now, to me, I think P. Ryan's gone. I don't think he's making this roster. I really don't. He might be a cut candidate. He could be a trade candidate. I don't know. But you literally had McLaughlin, Williams, Estimate taking reps with the first and second teamers, and you got freaking P. Ryan down there taking reps with the third stringers. Like, to me, that says it all. I don't think he's going to be back. I think he's either going to be traded or cut, whenever it comes time to shave this roster down to 53. So, receivers look good. Cortland Sutton had a good game. Tim Patrick, of course. Uh, a lot of the receivers had a good game. Dulcich had a solid game. But now let's get into what everybody's probably, really excited for. Everybody wants to hear all this and that. Bo Nix. He's our future guy. There's no more denying it. Like people, I've talked to people that said, "Oh, you're calling it like." He's the starter, no doubt, like 100%. He will be named the starter this week. If he's not, I will be pleasantly surprised, which is not going to happen. He will be named the starter. Now that these certain types of people are saying, okay, yeah, Bo Nix is going to be the week one starter, they're like, oh, he's not the franchise guy. Don't believe them. They have no idea what they're talking about. There is no more denying that Bo Nix is the franchise guy. I've watched all the rookie quarterbacks. That's like one of my favorite things to do. Is to watch all the rookie quarterbacks, not just this year. Every year, I love watching rookie quarterbacks play. I love it. And the only one I can honestly say I feel like is going to be better than Bo Nix this year is Caleb Williams. Only because of the talent. Only because of the athleticism. Like, yes, he's going to be spectacular. He had that no-look pass. I'll agree with that. Caleb Williams will probably be the best quarterback, but Bo Nix, he's clearly the number two. I've watched Jaden Daniels. I'm not saying Jaden Daniels is bad. Drake May, Michael Penix. Michael Penix ain't going to start this year. JJ McCarthy's out. Drake May, he's probably not going to start this year. He's probably going to be sitting. Brissett's probably going to be the starter over there. And then Jaden Daniels, it's like, he's good, but he's that mobile type of quarterback. And I agree with Mark Schlereth on this whole thing where mobile quarterbacks are fun. They're nice. It's nice to have that, extra ability, which Bo Nix kind of has that, but he's not more of a mobile quarterback. He's more of a pocket passing quarterback. But Mark Schlereth said it best. You win games when you win from the pocket. And Bo Nix is that guy. Even Caleb Williams, to an extent, is more of a mobile / he's a pocket passer, but he's more of a, get outside the pocket, make miraculous plays, kind of like Mahomes. Mahomes wasn't really a pocket passer. Even till this day, Mahomes' footwork is not that great. He's more of a get outside the pocket or, buy some time and make the spectacular play, the wow plays, I like to call it. So, but with that said, like I said, I think Caleb Williams will be better this year because he's young, he's still young. He has that athleticism, that mobility. He can, make the wow plays, kind of like Patrick Mahomes. So I think he'll be the better quarterback. But number two is going to clearly be Bo Nix. He is a franchise guy. Like him and Sean Payton together is going to be a match made in heaven. Like this team, like my original prediction for the Broncos, whenever I did my predictions earlier, like a month or so ago, because I did all the teams, I did the entire NFL. I said the Broncos are going to go 10-7 and sneak into the playoffs because of the way I had the schedule, the way I had, certain teams win, certain teams lose. The Broncos would sneak in at the 6th seed. And I don't know if you guys caught this on the broadcast tonight, but even Mike Kliss, I don't know if he was joking. He might have been serious, but he thinks the Broncos can win 11 games. Well, honestly, my opinion now, I think I shouldn't say biased or my favorability, but the fact that I strongly believe, and I'm pretty sure the majority of Broncos country can see it and national media, like I said, Nix and Peyton, match made in heaven. That's going to be a match made in heaven that can compete against Andy Reid and Mahomes, in my opinion. I see this Bronco team. I'm up in my game winnage this year. The Broncos are going 11-6, and they will make the playoffs. I have no doubt in my mind. People think that's crazy. It's not. Like, it'd be crazy to say that if Bo Nix was, he was doing some things good and other things he really needed improving on. But the fact that Bo Nix, even last week, like I heard an announcer say it today and I watched it. Last week, Bo Nix's footwork was a little, It was, he made good plays. He was a little jittery. I think being his first NFL game live action, a little jittery. He made the plays. But today, his footwork was clean. Every single time, his footwork was clean. The only bad negative play I could say about Bo Nix was whenever he threw the ball whenever he went past the line of scrimmage. which whatever. I'm not concerned with that at all. You know, that ain't gonna be an issue coming the regular season. But Bo Nix's footwork is clean. His decision making is clean. He gets the ball out fast. He knows where to go with the ball. He knows how to read protections. He knows how to read a defense. This kid looks like he's been in the NFL for like 5 years already. Now, a lot of people are like, well, he played against second. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, that only matters to me if he scored like 100 points or like 50 points on the second string defense and he played the whole game. They'd be like, yeah, that I guess that really doesn't matter because he's playing against second stringers. So yeah, he should be expected to put up that many points against second string, a second string team. But it's not that. It's the fact of his decision making is great. His footwork got cleaned up and is great. His, accurate passing, moving around in the pocket, getting rid of the ball on time and, within the rhythm of the offense, all that stuff. This kid is like a 5-year vet. Like, there's probably some quarterbacks that have been in the league for a year or two, like Bryce Young, that I think Bo Nix is going to be better than. Heck, I could say he's going to be better than Daniel Jones. There's probably I think he can be better than freaking probably Matthew Stafford this year because Matthew Stafford is a little bit older. He's gonna be better than Russell Wilson. And if you guys watched the Steelers game yesterday, Russell Wilson took like 3 or 4 sacks, and Bo Nix doesn't take any. Like, he gets the ball out so quick, or if he can't get the ball out because no one's open, he has that timer in his head, a timer that takes a quarterback at least a couple of years to get. That's why we complain so much about young rookie quarterbacks whenever they're in a game. They sit back there in the pocket and they bail out too early, or they don't, move up in the pocket, or they don't do all this or that and the other, and they take sacks or they make bad plays. Bo Nix has that timer in his head, like he's a freaking 5-year vet. He's got the timer in his head when he's like, he drops back, he's like 1, 2, 3, time to go, and he takes off and he moves up in the pocket. He does whatever he's got to do to get out of trouble's way and make a play down the field. Like, this guy is our franchise QB for the next, I'd say, 15 years. He's only 24. And the way the NFL is going with how soft it's been and, not being able to really touch the quarterback nowadays, quarterbacks are playing until they're late 30s to early 40s. Bo Nix is probably going to have like a 15, maybe probably at most maybe a 15, maybe a little bit longer career. And we're going to have our franchise guy for the next 15 years. And especially with Sean Payton running things, Sean Payton is 60 years old. These coaches are coaching into they're 70, they're 75, like to the early to mid 70s. These coaches are coaching. I don't see Sean Payton leaving. I think after his contract is up this next year, he's going to sign another one. Or not this next year, but whenever his contract's up here in a couple of years, he's going to sign another one and stay with the Broncos, especially since he found his guy in Bo Nix. His franchise guy, the guy that his next Drew Brees is basically what I'm saying. That is Nix is Sean Payton's next Drew Brees. This team is going to win a lot of games. I'll put money on it now that they win at least one Super Bowl in the next, I'm going to say 6 years, 7 years. They'll win another Super Bowl. With next year, with them, having all their draft picks back, having $100 million plus in cap space, they're going to go out and this year, I still think it's an evaluation year, not just for Nix, which, you still got to evaluate and everything. That's fine. And see how he deals with adversity throughout the season and injuries and stuff like that, because they're going to happen. But it's not just for him. It's for everybody. Like, are they going to keep Cortland Sutton another year? Are they going to keep Javonte another year? They want to see what Jonas Griffith has. They want to see, what Nick Bonito and Ellis have, these young guys. I want to see what they have. And that's another thing I want to touch on. Jonah Ellis and Nick Bonito, those two together on the field is going to be a lethal combination. And I am not kidding about that. Once again, yes, I understand that they were going up against second and third stringers, but it doesn't matter. They themselves are second, third stringers. Our starting pass rush duo is Baron Browning and Jonathan Cooper. And once again, it doesn't matter who your reps come up against. These guys are fighting for a roster spot and fighting for a job and getting paid just like every other player. It's still an NFL team. It's still NFL players. They're still trying to make the roster. They're playing their hearts out too, just like the guys on our team. You have to make the plays when you can make them, no matter who they're going against, whether if it's first, second, or third stringers, you have to make the plays whenever they come to you. And they did. Nick Benito, I'm telling you guys right now, that is a pass rushing duo, Nick Benito and Jonah Ellis, that are going to be huge here within this next year or two. I mean, huge. And don't be surprised. Like, if Baron Browning doesn't take a step forward this year, same for Jonathan Cooper. I wouldn't hesitate to say by the end of the year, you got Ellis. If they keep making strides like they were, Ellis and Benito, and Baron Browning and Cooper don't take that next step forward, we might be seeing a lot more of Nick Benito and Jonah Ellis by the end of the year. Especially if they're the ones getting into the backfield a lot more. Batting passes down, creating pressure and making the quarterback make bad throws. Like, this team, I say it again, I still think it's an evaluation year, but I think Peyton sees it that way too. But he also is like, you know what? We're still going to compete. We don't need to be a year away. We can compete now. And this day and age, it happens like that. In the NFL nowadays, you could be like, look at the Texans. There's teams out there all the time. Like, even people thought the Packers were going to be bad last year because they moved on from Aaron Rodgers and had Jordan Love. Like, oh, it's going to be an evaluation year. This is his first full year starting, so we don't know what he is. So, this is pretty much going to be like a year we're going to find out what Jordan Love is. They made the playoffs. The Texans, everybody thought they were going to be horrible last year. I remember watching shows saying, oh, they're going to go under 500. This is like a year to see if CJ Stroud's the guy and all these other guys. They freaking balled out. The NFL now, it's easy to rebuild and, from one year to the next to be bad one year, rebuild during the offseason, and be good the next year till we can make the playoffs. The NFL is like that nowadays. The Texans showed us that. And I mean, you could say the Packers, I mean, they weren't really bad, but they moved on from a Hall of Fame quarterback to a young guy they didn't know if he was the answer, So teams will do it. It can happen. Like, the turnaround for a team going from bad to good, it doesn't take 2 years anymore. And especially if you find the quarterback and he's a rookie like Bo Nix and he looks just like a freaking 5-year vet in the NFL already, and he's only in preseason game 2 for him in the NFL, there's no reason this team doesn't make the playoffs this year. I'm putting it down right now. Just like Sean Payton said last year, I'd be pissed if this team doesn't make the playoffs. I'll be pissed if this team doesn't make the playoffs this year. And that's saying a lot, especially if we go to the playoffs this year. To me, that proves another thing. Dead cap money don't mean jack. If the Broncos make the playoffs this year with a rookie quarterback, I'm not saying they have to win the Super Bowl, go deep into the playoffs, but they make a wild card round with a young rookie quarterback, just like the Texans did last year. But the difference is the Broncos are eating $53 million in dead cap this year. Dead cap ain't going to mean a damn thing if the Broncos make the playoffs. Sean Payton proved that you can cut any player you want, quarterback included, take an $85 million dead cap hit, rebuild your team in one offseason if you know how to do it correctly, and still make the playoffs and turn your team around within one offseason. Man, this season's going to be fun. Like, I'm super excited. 3 more weeks until the first game of the year against Seattle. And you know what? We're going to destroy Seattle. Like, I don't trust, what's his name? Geno Smith. And the Seahawks have a new head coach, McDonald, that came from the Ravens, which he was a great DC. I'm not trying to take away from him. He was a great DC. He always had that defense ready to go in Baltimore. They were one of the top statistical defenses in the league last year. But a new head coach, a defensive mind, you got Geno Smith, who's not that great. Dude, week 1 is going to be so much fun. It's not going to be a repeat of 2 years ago when we lost. Even though we only lost by a point, it ain't going to be like that. So, Broncos country, I'm going to leave you with this sentiment tonight. Be happy. Go to bed happy, knowing the Broncos, after 10 long freaking years and multiple quarterbacks, what is it, 13, 14, 15 quarterbacks, have finally found their franchise guy in Bo Nix. Sleep happy, be happy about it, and celebrate it. Because you know what? This stuff is so much fun. For for a team and a franchise and a fan base that has gone through 10 years of wandering the quarterback desert, going through rookies, going through old battered vets that were band-aids, going through another rookie who we thought was the guy but didn't turn out to be the guy. Mortgage your future for a guy that was a Super Bowl winning quarterback that should be a Hall of Famer. I don't think he is now. And you thought you had him and you thought you had the guy. After all that, Sean Payton comes in and he rights the ship. He gets his franchise guy. He gets his next Drew Brees. And the Broncos are once again going to be relevant. Mark my words. Bo Nix, 4-6. Please like, comment, subscribe on this video, guys. Share with your friends, your family if you like Broncos content. And I will be back tomorrow on my other page, Colorado Sports Connection, with Muhammad. So please come over there tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Mountain Time and join us over there to talk about everything Broncos. But like I said, please, guys, like, comment, subscribe on this video, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.